Hey guys, how's it going? Paul here. Thanks for being here. Starting a little bit later than usual. Uh, Sound side's good. Yeah, starting a little bit later than usual, about 15 minutes. We had to take my daughter to gymnastics tonight instead of our normal Wednesday night. So that class started a little bit later. So trying to get her to bath, all that kind of stuff. Dad duty. Took a little bit longer than tonight. Thankfully, everything went smooth. Everything was good, and I was still able to start uh, fairly close to what I normally do. Hey, Ken, thanks for being here. So yeah, that is it's a little bit why. Quino's comic. I have a daughter of my own, so yeah, for sure. How old's your daughter? Mine's 5. We just started gymnastics. I want to say about a month ago, and yeah, my wife works Monday nights, so it's just dad duty Mondays and Tuesdays. So thankfully everything was good. So we are here today for another What's New in the Collection. 2, she's in ballet. Mine is in dance also. Get ready for, I want to say maybe like 3 is when she started. Yeah, it must have been when she was 3. Last year they had their first recital. And it gets expensive. So get ready for that. But she loves it, so we'll keep on doing it. But yeah, so we've got a What's New in the Collection. And it's going to be a short and sweet one today. We've got 4 games. One of them is a Kickstarter that is coming in about a month or so. The other 2 are some games that we've actually already streamed on the channel. And then one is a newer game from Alley Cat Publishing. So we can go ahead and get into those and start seeing what we have in these boxes. We'll get to kind of look inside of them a little bit, actually unbox one of them, and just kind of look at the components and see what they have. Let me do something here real quick. Perfect. Okay. So we'll go ahead and switch over here to the top down, and we can get started with the first one, and this is Saurus. Saurus. No, it's got to be Saurus. Dinosaurus. This is an upcoming game published by Tangerine Games. They have published Peaks, which is about to be fulfilling soon. They've published Nestlings. It's kind of a up-and-coming publisher, and they're really great guys. And they sent us over this new game, hey Dennis, to make some content on it. So Devin and I will be doing that. But this is a tile-laying trick-taking game. And one thing that's super awesome about Tangerine Games in general is just their production quality. Again, this is a prototype, so everything in here is probably going to change. Maybe not a lot, but it could change. But you've got these super chunky Mahjong dice. My wife got me the dice on an X-Men set and said I'm only allowed warm. You just got to get cheaper games. But yeah, it's the Mahjong tiles, I think is how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. But you've got all of these different tiles with all sorts of different types of dinosaurs on them. Let me see if I can zoom in there a little bit so you can actually see those. It might be a little blurry. But you've got all these different tiles. And like I said, it's a trick-taking game, except it's played with tiles. So not going to go super too deep into it. But you basically start off with the tiles upside down. One of them gets flipped over. That's the lead tile. And then you just kind of go from there, right? So some of the suits trump other suits, or should I say some of the dinosaurs. You can't see that. Some of the dinosaurs trump other dinosaurs. So if you play it, some of the numbers, will trump it if it's the same suit, the same dinosaur. So it's played like that. And then the cool thing, you've got your victory point counters. The cool thing about it is you have these asymmetric player mats. And again, these are super nice quality for just being a little prototype. But they are all different. So they've got a different layout on here. And so what you do is whoever wins the set, they get to choose what they want, and they will place it on their tile, and then everybody else gets to place something on their player mats. And you get to score these based on how you place them. So there's all sorts of different types of symbols on here. You've got eggs, you've got bones, you've got teeth. What else? You've got footprints, right? So you've got all these different symbols, and you're doing you can do some type of set collection. So just putting 2 of the same dinosaurs together gets you 1 victory point. 4 or more of the same dinosaurs, it gets you 5 points plus 1 for every extra one that you have on there. Bones adjacent to eggs give you a victory point. Whoever has the most eggs gets 4. Whoever has pairs of footprints is 3. Teeth, so on and so forth. So not only are you playing this like trick-taking game, you're also going to be doing I don't want to say a polyomino, but a tile placement game where you're trying to get different sets. So super excited to play it, hoping that Devin and I will get to play it this weekend. This does play, the box says 3 to 5. There is a 2-player variant. So the guys over at Tangerine Game, they gave us permission to do a 2-player playthrough of it. We're hoping to possibly get 3 players played, probably not recorded, but at least more than that so that we can see how the game actually plays. And then get to play it at 2 and get that content out whenever the campaign comes. So that should be around May 20th. The landing page is on Kickstarter. I'll put it in the description below. But yeah, that is the upcoming game for Tangerine Games called Saurus. And it looks awesome. I absolutely love their artwork. All of their boxes have been great. All of their production quality has been great. So excited to see what this one holds. I know they're still changing stuff in the rule books and all that kind of stuff. So anything that I'm saying right now could possibly change. I'm sure there's going to be some type of organizer in here just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But just the component quality of this, these nice chunky ones, these are engraved in there. Looking forward to it. This one should be a good one. So be on the lookout for it. Like I said, I'll put the link to the Kickstarter landing page on there, and that way you guys can check it out. So that is the first one, and that is Saurus. Hey, Kinos, which is your favorite X-Men so far? And this is designed by Cole Smith. I don't think he has designed anything big or anything that's like super well known. I know he has 2 other games on BGG, but seems pretty good. You know, I got to look at the rough draft rule book and everything, and it seems pretty straightforward. So, like I said, we're excited about this one. But yeah, that's Saurus. Move it over there. Okay, up next. So the next 2 are actually games that Devin and I, we both back these. So he's got his own copy. I've got my own copy. Devin live streamed the Anarchy, and then we live streamed Skara Bray last Friday. So let's kind of look at those. We'll start here with the Anarchy. So this is the spiritual successor to Hadrian's Wall. I would get Hadrian's Wall out of my shelf right now, but it is underneath some stuff, and I'm not going to mess with that right now. But this is the spiritual successor in that it is a X and right. But it is more than what Hadrian's Wall was. So let's kind of look at a little bit of the overview here, the introduction. So at the end of 1135, Henry I, King of England, died, leaving no male heir to the reign. Henry's daughter, Empress Matilda, believed she should rule by succession. However, the late king's favorite nephew, Stephen de Blois, was quicker to the throne, and with the help of his brother, the Bishop of Winchester, was crowned king. Those loyal to the Empress were enraged by Stephen's coronation and would not accept him as a ruler. Over the next 18 years, England saw a breakdown in law and order, and civil war spread across the country. This conflict became to be known as the Anarchy. So in the Anarchy, you take on the role of English nobles loyal to King Stephen. Over 5 rounds, players must build their domain, defend their castle from attacks by approaching armies, and storm strongholds loyal to Matilda with their own crafted siege weapons. The player who can accumulate the most bravery, loyalty, influence, might, whilst avoiding discontent, will prove to be to King Stephen that their most loyal ally, granting them their largest earldom. So in this game, you're just going to be trying to get the most victory points by doing path cards. So if you've played Hadrian's Wall, you know about the path cards. And then there's going to be attacks onto your castles. So, of course, you've got all the meeples, and I don't know what they are in this one. I know the grays are white, are knights, and you've got all sorts of different stuff, probably warriors. Let's see, does it say back here? Okay, so you have your serfs, you have your craftsmen, your patrons are your gray ones, your soldiers are your red, and your knights are your blue. And those can only be placed on special or certain places on your board. Let's kind of clear this a little bit here, get some stuff out. You have some silver that you'll need in order to pay for certain abilities or upgrades. You've got the wood that helps you build stuff out. You've got the food that you have to pay every round, depending on what you've built. I've already kind of split this up into solo and multiplayer, so I've got a couple different bags going on here. Honestly, this is probably going to be a solo game for me. I don't foresee me teaching my wife this one or her wanting to learn this one. And I also don't really foresee Devin and I playing this one together because this is really a heads down, do your own kind of thing game. At least that's kind of how Hadrian's Wall was for us. And then here you have your, I forget what they're called, but it's like the siege board, possibly. So you've got your own player boards here. Something like this, right? And then you have your path cards, which are probably in here. I haven't looked at it too deep. Actually, it's probably got to be in here. Yeah, so you've got your path cards. Let me zoom in. I'm glad their boxes are decent sized. So these are actually these are the smaller size ones, like Ezra and Nehemiah, Legacy of You, Hadrian's Wall. It's all that same size. So here's the path cards. And like I said, I've already kind of split it up into a solo, so this is a solo only bag. And this is for completed chapel levels. So just like in Hadrian's Wall, you'll take 2 of them, you'll draft one. It gives you your round resources, and then it gives you victory points for completing something down here. And then you will place them up here, or down here, and score them at the end of the game based on what you got. You also have this castle. So this is your actual castle, and you'll be placing dice into these sections that act as your defenses. So, for example, here you've got the moat, which is the blue river around it, right? And so if you build out a moat, you can start off with a 1 strength defense because there's a 1 pip, and then as you upgrade it, you can go to 2, you can go to 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. And then down here, right, you can have some type of gate, and same thing, you can upgrade that strength as well. You also have these towers, and the towers, right, they're going here, and you can upgrade those. So that's a level 1, that's a level 2. Then you have the actual walls, which are same thing, level 1, all the way up to level 4, it looks like. So you're building this out in order to prevent incoming attacks. So the attacks can be anything like, where is it? Right, so you've got attacks like this. And so it tells you, like, this is a level A attack. And it is going to attack this side of the castle. So that would be right here. If you have a gate, it would block it, and then you can have the wall that could block it as well. Some of them come face down like this, so you don't know what the strength is, but you know that it could be a wall, it's going to be somewhere around here, and it's a ladder action. So you kind of know a little bit of information ahead of time, so that way you don't have to, you're not going into it 100% blind. Hey, Ian, these ones are, honestly, I'm not sure. I haven't really read the rule book all the way yet. Just slightly watching Devin's play and just a little bit that I know about it. You can put some of your soldiers and knights out here. At least that's what that shows. This one shows that you can also put a craftsman, and that would take down some of the attack that is happening to you. So that's kind of how that works out there. Where did this go? Put this here. And then, of course, you've got this other board. Zoom back out. So you have this board, and this is where these ones will go. So whenever you complete whatever is here, you get the tiles from up here. So those tiles are interchangeable, and it's just some type of resource or some type of card or some type of coin, something like that. I see a weakness there. What about aerial attacks? You're right. They do have trebuchets and catapults. And I think, I don't know, but we're just going to say that you just have to drink beer. I'm sure there's some real answer to that, but we're just going to drink beer instead. But yeah, so you complete this, and it gives you some sort of victory points as well at the end of the game. So let's look at the actual boards here. So pretty cool. On the Hadrian's Wall, they had two giant pads here. But on this one, they've actually just made it onto one front and back. So I'll go ahead and rip this off, because I will play it eventually anyway. And so you've got this front and back here. And I know it's kind of hard to see just because the color of my table here is very similar to the color of the paper here. So this side, you have all of the construction stuff, I guess, like the left side of the paper, right? So you've got your bravery, your loyalty, your influence, your might. So anytime that you are gaining that, you're crossing stuff off here. And then once you cross it off, you get whatever resource you're crossing off. So that could be some type of worker, some type of bump on a track. Here's the castle defense. So you pay food equal to the round 1 heart per. So you get a discontent for every food that you can't pay. You deploy your workers. You max 1 beer per those. Here is a way for you to get more soldiers, craftsmen, knights. And this is kind of where you build your stuff up. So this is like your ladders, your ballista. Here you go, Michael. This is where you can build a trebuchet, a large crane, a siege tower. Over here is just ways that you can get more stuff. So at the gate, you can pay a craftsman and a wood to get this stuff up here. Here you pay yellow workers or red workers to build out your moat. So when you're going here, you are actually strengthening your moat a little bit. Down here, this is covers, or I'm sorry, this is, what's it called? This is like stuff to help you during your attacks. So you can do hot oil, logs, bolts, rocks, covers, that kind of stuff. Those help you during the attacks. And then down here is your production. So how many yellow workers, black workers, wood, gray workers, silver, food, red and blue workers you'll get at the start of every round. And then on this side of the paper, this is your right side. And this is where you're going to be spending more workers. So here, it looks like it's gray workers are similar to the yellow workers from Hadrian's Wall. So you spend a gray worker, cross that off, and then you've got your keep up here, which just gives you more resources. Warcraft, which gives you tactics. That's what these are over here. Whenever you're getting attacked, you have more tactics. Your worship here, which looks like it gives you workers. And then you have the St. Valentine's Festival, which is like kind of like the Gladiators a little bit, but you have these cards and you draw them and you have to have matching symbols or something like that. Not 100% sure. Then down here you have entertainment and you have tournaments, which again have to do with this card. You're like jousting and stuff like that. You have the brew house, which is where people spend beer to get stuff. And then the Michaelmas, I'm not sure what that is. And then the Lamas down here. So it's just a way to get more stuff. And the cool thing about this one is it comes with a 18, I believe, 16, 20, with a 20 scenario campaign. So with Hadrian's Wall, that campaign was created after the fact. With this one, it came in the original box. So the overview, this book contains 20 unique scenarios. While they have been designed to be played in order, you can play them as a one-off game if you want. When starting a new chapter, be sure to read the introduction, follow any unique setup. Each chapter will indicate which 5 scenario cards need to be placed. Other changes, this might start you off with extra workers, pre-filled boxes, or other variables. There's always going to be some type of victory requirement and a bonus goal. In order to win, you must meet all those requirements. If you don't, then you end in defeat. If you win a chapter, then move on to the next one. If you lose, you can either move on or restart the same chapter. So even if you win a chapter but fail the bonus, you can retry it if you want. So all diary entries found with each chapter are written for the perspective. Yep. So that is just kind of how this works. Very similar to Hadrian's Wall, like I said. You have some setup stuff, victory requirements. So it looks like for the first one, you need to score 60 plus. I watched Devin's initial live stream and he scored 37. So 60 is going to be hard. That wasn't the scenario. That was just the base game. He did send us a text the next morning of him scoring 67. So I know the victory points there is possible. Construct and complete all mint levels, 15 plus loyalty, 15 influence, 0 to 2 discontent. So you got to really kind of figure out those chapters. And it's pretty cool. It's got like a little story, kind of like a legacy of you. So that is the campaign there. And I think that's really about it in here. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, and I did this for Hadrian's Wall as well. I've split it up into this is all I need for solo. Well, at least this is my player stuff for solo. Here are the cards. Probably won't touch any of this unless for some reason we want to play it multiplayer, but I don't really foresee that happening. But who knows? We might do it one day. We'll see. Try to see if we can fit everything back in here. As like Michael said, these are the smaller boxes that they usually do in the ancient anthology games, and they did it again here. And of course, they do have their like Kickstarter promo. So I've got the little Kickstarter promo rules in there. It's just a couple of extra reward tiles that you can get throughout the game. So that is the Anarchy. Awesome art by Sam Phillips. Love it. Absolutely love it. And it looks so awesome on the Calyx. So that is the Anarchy. Which brings us to next, Scarra Bray. This one is designed by Shem from Garfield Games. Like I mentioned, I backed both of these games. Devin backed his own as well, so we both got copies of this. Him and I streamed this one last Friday, and it was good. I really liked it. I think that is awesome right there. Absolutely love that artwork. I think they're all the same. Let's see. They're all the same. But both of us ended up getting the insert for this game because there are 16 different resources. So let's see if I can name them. We have stone. I think this is an egg. It looks like an egg, but I think it's a shell. Let's zoom in here so you guys can see it a little bit better. I think it's a shell. Devin kept calling them eggs, but we all know he doesn't know. They are shells, yeah. So these are the shells. This is the food. This is the midden. This is wool, leather, seaweed, barley. And then we've got the other 8 here. We've got bones, which I think are very cool looking. Little cross bones. We've got the good old Garfield wood. This was deer, I think. Yep, deer, cattle, fish, rabbits, cows, and scale knives, little scale knives. In his defense, very true, Michael. And you know what? These really do look like eggs, so I can't blame him because they've got that egg shape. So, you know what? Maybe it's just egg shells. I like that. You're absolutely right. We had mentioned we're unsure if we like this or not. Let's go back out. It's awesome for organizing it in the box, for sure. But when you have 4 players and everybody is doing this, because it is a simultaneous game, and somebody's over here and somebody needs to get the midden, and somebody needs to get 4 of them, and you need to get 3 of them, I can see it being a little hectic that way. When I'm playing solo, I'm absolutely going to love this, but I don't know any more than 2, it might get a little crazy. But like I said, it does fit in the box very, very well. So, then of course your little player tokens here, right? So you've got the player boards. Just make messy piles. I think it is just making messy piles, right? So here you've got your player tokens or your player boards. You've got where to keep track of all your stuff. You've got your workers. You've got your little resources here, your resource trackers here, right? So you've got, I think this one goes here. Yeah. It's like that. And then you just kind of slide it back and forth. I do wish this would have been double layered, dual layered, just because you can move it very easily. And there was one point in our playthrough where I wasn't sure if I was here or here because I had hit it accidentally. Thankfully, we were live. I was able to check on my phone to see where we were at. But I could see that being an issue, when you're doing stuff. Not a huge deal, but that would have been nice. So there is that. And then, of course, you have all the... one other thing here. This was pretty cool. If you ever do run out of all of these resources, right, let's say you had something like this, right, and you're running out of the wheat there, you can just cover it, put that there, and then that signifies that you have 4 of the wheat. So that was pretty cool. The actual tiles here are neat. Again, if you saw the playthrough, you can see that it actually makes out a picture whenever you put them together. And I think it was something like this. Right, so you've got this actual little image that's going on. Right, with all the actions on there. Symbology, super easy, pretty basic, really easy to understand what's going on with it. Like any other games, once you understand it, you know what to do with it. So that's all there. Every player has their own. So then we've got the gather actions, which I believe were like this. I think it was like that. Yep. So there's its own little picture. And then you had the advanced tiles, which Devin and I did kind of talk about a little bit before, or after our playthrough. But right then in this spot, you've got your little extra ability, your async ability. So this one allows you to build a little bit more easier by trading resources. So by building, that's either trading or furnishing. You can explore a little bit better, which is just getting more settlers and triggering your actions. Innovating, which I believe is one that Devin had, which lets you craft out more buildings. Hunting boar, which gives you just an extra resource here, the boar that nobody else can get unless you have that. Muster, letting you activate some more cards. Recruiting, which gets you extra workers. Spinning wool, which is getting wool cards. I'm not sure exactly what it does. I don't remember. But there's your little wool card. Gives you a victory point. Oh, that's what it was. Anytime you get one of these cards, you get extra wool. So you're just producing a lot of wool. Tending land, which is cleaning out your midden. Bartering, which is trading. And then foraging, which is just gathering stuff. So all of those are there. Pretty cool. I think they did a good job with this game. It is a lighter game. I'm going to guess, I haven't really looked at it, but I think it's probably around that 2.5 weight. This game was designed just by Shem. So generally when he designs games, they're a little bit lighter. You've got your Shipwrights Redux, you've got your Legacy of You, which isn't, they're just not the trilogy games, right? They're not the South Tigris where it's a complete brain burner. But it's good. I want to try out the solo just to see how that plays. I know there's no real bot. There's no real anything to really keep up with. Shem had mentioned that the biggest thing in the solo is to just play with the async abilities and just kind of deal with what tasks you have. I just looked on BGG, currently at 2.86. It's a little bit higher than what I would have expected it to be. Hey, Jeff. But yeah, it's an easy game. Devin and I mentioned, or at least we talked about, I don't remember if it was on stream or off stream, but I think the complexity in the game comes from when you are taking the actions. When are you going to gather these resources? When are you going to trade them in? And just that puzzliness of it. The actual tiles that you have, those are all very easy to manage. The heaviness from it comes from deciding what you're doing with all of the different resources. Has 2 2s, 4 3s, and 1 4 so far. 7 boats. Yeah. I would say it's probably near a 2.5, somewhere around there. But the complexity rating on BGG is not the best anyway, so it doesn't really matter there. I definitely don't think it's a 4, and I definitely don't think it's a 3. I think it's closer to that 2.5 range. So, yeah, that's Bray. I mentioned Sam Phillips' art on the Anarchy. I think this one looks even better. I absolutely love this one. Super stunning. I like the little rabbits on the side here. You've got the worker. And then on this side, the dude that I still think looks like Keanu Reeves. Nobody ever said yes or no to that on Friday, but I think that's Keanu Reeves there. And so, yeah, that is Bray. And then finally, the last game to the collection. This is Station to Station. This one was sent to us by Alley Cat Games. In order for it to get a 2.5, you need a bunch of people voting. They really should have half ratings. Yeah, I don't know. The complexity thing to me is, it's whatever. It's not the best system, but it is what it is. This one, Station to Station. I just noticed this is designed by Johnny Pack. I've heard the name. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know he has some games that tons of people know and that I've played in the past. This is the newest release by Alley Cat Games. I guess they're currently fulfilling Kalimala, I think is what it's called. But this is the newest like retail release of the game. So let's see what we've got in here. I did look at this one. This one is around that 2. I forget now, 2.6, something like that, 2.8. But this is the steam engine is at its height, and you're an ambitious new train company determined to turn your upstart venture into a booming success. You don't have much to begin with, just a small amount of cash and coal, a train engine, and an iron will. You'll need to carefully plan your route, hire the right crew, and manage your cargo if you want to have the most legendary locomotive of all time. You've got your trains. This is a 2 to 4 player game. There is no solo mode on it. You have a draw bag. You've got, looks like a market board, player boards, the game board. Let's see, setup. So it looks like you're playing over seasons, summer, autumn, winter, and then countdown, which is interesting. I guess this is a, let's see, on your turn, you will optionally buy cargo or coal, move your train, visit the station in your new city to complete an order token, collect a token, collect another token, or take action. You can hire new crew members, and then you get things ready for the next player or the new season. I'm not sure. This looks like it's a route building game, so you're going to be completing routes. You will be, let's see what the end game scoring is. The game ends immediately. Oh, so I guess you're scoring points as you play. Interesting. So I don't really know too much about it, but let's look at the components. You've got some real chunky little trains here. So there's your train tokens. Nice and thick. I'm going to assume this is your coal. These black tiles, or the black cubes. These are the route cards. So it looks like $2. I'm going to assume that's victory points. So probably if you connect those two things, or if you go to those two things, you probably get the victory points. I wonder if this is like a pick up and deliver type game. Let's see if we can open this. Maybe. $3, 5 points, $2, 4 points, 6 points. I wonder what makes these be more valuable. There's a 7.1 plus some other conditions, or conditions that you get. Interesting. There's the market board. Oh, this is the that symbol that it was just showing. Same thing. Oh, this is your player boards. Here is, I'm going to assume this is the crew members that you can hire. And those crew members give you some type of abilities, I think it said. So $2 to get those one of those two things. $1 to get those. Black ticket for $5. Black ticket for 2 coal. Trading in one of those resources for coal. So yeah, these are just like your async abilities that you can get. I'm assuming when you complete a contract, you get $5 extra. All right, so it's going to be some type of contract fulfillment style game. All the punch boards. Oops. More punch boards. then the actual map. Ooh, this is a big one. Come on. There we go. Let's zoom out here. Nice little big map. Got it upside down, but that's okay. I'll flip it over. All right, so you've got different resources on the map. You've got the northern region, southern, western, eastern. I'm assuming this is where you get coal or where you can drop off coal on those sections. There's different resources. So in your turn, you market, travel, station workers, crew caboose, and then clean up. It seems pretty simple. So, yeah, not too sure anything else about it. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty easy. I'm sure we can get it played relatively quickly. So this will be one that we will play on the channel at some point. Don't know if it's going to be a live stream or a pre-recorded one, but we will make some content on it just to see kind of what's new with Alley Cat Games. They've put out a couple of games that we've really enjoyed. So hoping to see what they got. Throwback to all my big Risk boards. Yes, it is a throwback to all of those huge boards. Coming off of, Bray and the Anarchy here, which they're trying to contain them. You've got this gigantic Ticket to Ride size board. Of course, I just say that because it's trains. But yeah, the classic big board, which isn't a bad thing. It's nice to have an actual giant board when you've got some board games going on. So, yeah, you've got all the different tiles and then the money. So that is everything that's in here. Get this all back. We'll have to punch all this out. Then you've got a draw bag. It's got to be for resources. Possibly these tiles, maybe. Tiles make sense. Supply tokens. It's got to be the supply tokens. You put the summer, autumn, winter ones in there. Route display. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't a big rule book, so can definitely learn it fairly quickly. But like I said, it doesn't have a solo mode, so I'm going to have to wait to play it with Devin whenever that time comes. But that is Station to Station, designed by Stephen Aramini and Johnny Pack, illustrated by Laura Bevan. And again, this was sent to us by Alley Cat Games, so a huge shout out to them for sending that over. We definitely appreciate it. But yeah, that is actually all that we have. We'll switch the camera here. For this month's new in collection. Like I mentioned, this was a small month for games, but we did have a pretty big one last month. But we're excited to do it. Like I said, we've already put out content for both of these ones. We'll probably do some more with that in the future. Saurus coming up, Tangerine Games, come over here. May 20th is the Kickstarter. Again, it is a prototype, so everything that I showed you guys could change. I'll put the link in the description below for the landing page. Be on the lookout for a 2-player playthrough of that game at some point. And then finally, Station to Station here. Some good old collecting goods, delivering orders, building crews style game. So, more X-Men. Ken, tomorrow, X-Men, Rogue versus Gambit will go live. And then after that, we've got 2 more. So, yeah, we've got a little bit more X-Men coming for you. We're just dripping it out for you. We need to keep you hooked. Saurus does look good. It looks really awesome, like that artwork on there. So, that is all that I have. I'm actually about to set up some Salt Fjord here on the table because I am wanting to play that one finally. So, Jeff, I will let you know what I think about that very soon. Probably won't get to play it tonight, but we'll definitely be playing it tomorrow. I'm just going to go ahead and get it set up tonight. But that is all that I have. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help us. It helps our channel grow. And until next time, see y'all later.